Yeah, this video is for the chosen ones that only ride with God. This is for the chosen ones that don't see anybody else but God. What happens when a chosen only has God in his life? Let me tell you something. Once you get through that wall, it's the most beautiful thing. Yeah. Now, when God calls and you answer, one of the challenges that you face is the loneliness. Actually, on my first awakening, I was so lonely, you know. But then it was during the time where everybody was lonely as well, you know. But the second one, I was in this state for the whole 2 years and a half, and I decided to make an agreement with God. I said, Lord, you get me out of this hellhole, and I'm only gonna ride with you. And He did, and I did. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Alula, and welcome to Awaken the Ego. What happens when you only got God in your life? What happens when you only ride with God? What happens when you have nobody else to turn to? What happens to you when you finally awaken to the fact that God said don't put your trust in men and women? Let me tell you something. It's the most liberating thing. But first, you have to go through trials and tribulations before you get to that state. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, one of the symptoms of making a quantum leap, answering the call, or one of the side effects, is the loneliness that you feel when you finally connect yourself with your higher self. Now, this loneliness is not about you being around people or people being around you. It's a feeling that you get that nobody gets you. It's a feeling that you have that nobody understands your journey. And let me tell you something. You're right. Now, this journey of yours has been tailor-made to you, for you, and just you. Therefore, you cannot expect other people to fully understand your calling. Now, the only choice you have right here chosen is to ride with God only. Once the process is done, you'll see. It's the most beautiful thing. You'll see. You're finally beginning to live like the way of the heavens. You're finally beginning to live how you meant to live, how you have meant to live all this time. Now, what happens when the chosen has nobody else but God in his life? The chosen surrenders, and that frees him. And now, he's free as a bird. Now, surrendering, guys, is one of the most liberating things you can ever have, but it's also one of the most painful things to acquire. What am I talking about? I'm talking about ego death. Now, when God chooses you, you're going to have to go through this process. And this process is so painful because it strips you of the ego's construct that you have constructed, for yourself. Now, this calling destroys this ego. And you're going to have an ego death. This will make you surrender. Now, once you surrender, guys, guess what? Fear just vanishes out of your life. Now, the reason why people lead their lives with fear is because they fully operate from ego. Now, I'm not one of those people that says to have an ego is a bad thing. No, you have an ego for a reason, but your ego doesn't have to take the center stage. Your soul does, but the ego, guys, gives you an ability for you to operate in this three-dimensional world, because you're going to need it at times to keep yourself safe, to keep yourself, safe. In other words, you have to marry the two. Let me tell you something. This is the greatest gift of life. And you only get this when you ride only with God. When you ride with God only, you don't care what people think. Let me tell you something. That is also liberating. That also frees you from shackles of the mind. I even think that, like most people, they don't even get started on what they want to do, because it's not even about like fearing what they think of themselves. Like they're not afraid of failing, I guess, for themselves, but they're afraid of what other people think or how other people see them. Now, when you go through this process, guys, this process is so painful. You finally just give up and say, I don't give a damn. Lord, do what you are with me. Especially, I don't care who sees me. I look like a bum. My clothes ain't about shit. My African hair is everywhere. It's all grown. My beard is unshaven for months. I walk around, like as if I got no care in the world. And let me tell you something. That is how you are to live your life. Guys, once you don't care what people think of you, you have won half the battle already. Now, the only way, guys, to not care what people think of you is to establish your truth. Now, once you establish your truth, and anything that goes against that truth, as I said, it doesn't exist in your mind. And the funny thing, another thing about like caring about people is like, why would you care about people if you actually knew how people are so insecure of themselves and they obsessively judge themselves? Most people don't even like themselves. Why would you bother giving a damn about what people think? And let me tell you something. As much as it sounds like it's so simple, it's a pretty hard thing to liberate yourself from, guys. And you only get this when you ride with God. Now, what is the next point? What happens to the chosen when he only rides with God but nobody else, he becomes, or she becomes, one of the most powerful manifester in this physical realm. Now the thing about like turning your back onto the world, what does it turn your back on, like from the world? It's like, if I can explain it, would be not to want anything outside of yourself. And let me tell you something, that is the number one way of manifesting. Manifesting what you want naturally means for you to have that feeling inside of you already existed. Therefore, you lack nothing. And most importantly, you do not lack that thing because you have it. Now, once you have it, the universe really has no choice but to give it to you. And once you operate from yourself from ego, you become so attached. I mean, once the ego takes center stage in your life. But when you ride with God, guys, when you have an ego death, when you surrender, when you only have God in your life, you have everything. Therefore, the world gives you everything, and you become one of the most powerful manifestors in your life. You begin to take charge of your life. You begin to really take matters into your own hands. And because of what? That is how it's meant to be. Now this video is for people who are going through this process. Let me tell you something. There's a brighter day ahead of you. Just continue on this journey. But most importantly, take your eyes off this world. Take your eyes off men and women and fix yourself on God that dwells within you. Alright guys, like this video, subscribe to this channel. Until your next video, God bless. And take care. Bye-bye. See you. Yeah.